I had a tooth extracted yesterday, which may make me sound odd.
What the hell did you say? I can't understand you.
Why do you have to be there? A few weeks ago, we started talking about the struggles of being a professional wrestler, a series that's been really well received. I thought I was in a real mess, so I appreciate you all for your help. And we touched on the topic of severe weight cuts and the dangers that come with it. But even though we mentioned some fighters who went down due to complications trying to make weight, no fighter from the current crop of stars or relevant figures had expressed having experienced a moment where they almost died from a weight cut. Well, this has finally happened, and none other than Paddy Pimblett. In an interview with the Extreme Couture coach Eric with this last name, the Englishman revealed that when he fought in Cage Warriors in one of his last appearances, he did a weight cut so extreme that after the fight he went to get some tests and scans done, and the doctor told him that if he had cut 500 grams more, he would have suffered kidney failure.
Days later, a doctor said he wouldn't have let me fight had he seen the injury before the match. I was like a pound away from kidney failure.
Yeah?
He said the issue was with his liver, causing a lack of testosterone in his body.
The Englishman didn't specify whether it was total failure, meaning both kidneys or just one, but either way, I would have been pretty messed up. Besides, as he himself explains, doing blood tests and all that is a process he usually does after cutting weight. It's not that he was feeling bad or had any symptoms, but literally, he was close to ruining his kidneys through excessive training, but that wasn't the only issue at hand. Paddy also had very low testosterone levels for some time. He had practically nothing, all because of the weight cut.
Boy.
Alright, we've taken on the task of finding out why this happened and what it would have meant for Paddy's life if he hadn't improved some of his practices. To clarify, we don't have direct information from him about the events or what went wrong. But by understanding how weight cuts work, it's easy to draw conclusions about what might have gone wrong. The first thing to remember is that the goal of a weight cut is obviously to lose as much weight as possible. This is usually done through a combination of controlled diet, emptying the bowels, and significant dehydration. To get close to kidney failure, Paddy must have taken dehydration to a critical level. As many of you probably know, and if not, I'm telling you now. The kidneys are responsible for filtering the blood and maintaining the body's fluid and electrolyte balance.
Hey, slow down, Brainiac.
Severe dehydration, like what a fighter experiences during a weight cut, basically decreases blood flow to the kidneys, which keeps them from working properly and removing waste products, causing them to build up in the kidneys. Not being able to excrete these wastes can lead to acute kidney injury, which is nothing more than a sudden loss of kidney function.
Sutil.
If this is not addressed in time, it can lead to permanent damage. A doctor warned you that your kidneys were just under 500 grams away from failing. It means that the kidneys of the Englishman were at the limit of their functional capacity with a dangerous buildup of toxins. Add to this the electrolyte imbalance, also caused by dehydration, and you have the ingredients for disaster. Well, Paddy could have even had a seizure or suffered a cardiac arrhythmia. What did surprise me was the issue of testosterone, saying that he practically had no testosterone in his body at the time of the tests. It seemed like an exaggeration, but after researching, I think he actually understated it. When discussing the effects of weight cuts, we mentioned potential metabolic issues but didn't elaborate on the hormonal implications. Which, for those who don't know, hormones and metabolism are related because the various hormones in our system act as chemical messengers that help regulate the different metabolic processes in the body. But why did Paddy have less testosterone than a progressive ally? Well, it turns out that testosterone production in the male body is regulated by a complex system known as the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis, or hypothalamic pituitary gonadal. To simplify, this axis works as follows. First, the hypothalamus releases gonadotropin-releasing hormone, or GnRH. Then, the pituitary gland responds to the GnRH by releasing luteinizing hormone and another one called follicle-stimulating hormone. Then the testicles come into play, since luteinizing hormone stimulates the Leydig cells in the testicles to produce testosterone. Alright, when Paddy subjected his body to such massive stress as extreme weight cutting, according to sources, survival mechanisms were activated that can suppress the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis, leading to a drastic decrease in testosterone, basically leaving him dry of the male hormone. Fortunately, Paddy discussed this in the past tense. Currently, he seems to have reduced the severity of his weight cuts, possibly due to improved methods. I would put an asterisk on this, as there's a chance he could be affected long term. The reason is simple. He weighs around 90 kilos outside of training camp and fights at 70, so he has to lose 20 kilos for each fight. It's outrageous. Many of the problems in this series, as you've seen, are long term. Unlike breaking your nose, arm, or being knocked out, which happen instantly, many of these issues appear gradually over time. Generally, a good part of the weight is lost at the camp through exercise and diet. But, for example, looking ahead to UFC 314, Paddy weighed 77 kilos 48 hours before the weigh-in. He lost 7 kilos in that time, an unhealthy amount of weight loss. Well, I have to say that I used to do that too, before competing. I would lose between 5 and 10 kilos of just water weight from the day before the fight to the day of the tournament. I did it wrong, but I did it. And you'll see, a study cited by ResearchGate indicates that a fighter, regardless of the discipline, who loses at least 8.2% of their body weight in such a short period of time reduces at least 63% of serum testosterone, and the Englishman lost almost 10% of his body weight. So if he has done this for many years and many times, it's possible that he might have some issues with testosterone.
I'm not gay! I only peeked down his pants because I heard he was very well endowed.
Repeatedly undergoing extreme weight cuts and low testosterone episodes, what is medically known as stress-induced hypogonadism or acquired hypogonadotropic hypogonadism can have serious long-term health consequences. If the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis is repeatedly suppressed, it can lead to chronic dysfunction. The body might have difficulty restarting normal testosterone production, even in the absence of acute stress. And this might require the well-known TRTs or testosterone replacement therapies. You could also experience severe fertility problems. And yes, Paddy already has children. Firing a bullet doesn't guarantee the gun won't jam afterward. Besides, testosterone is crucial for spermatogenesis or sperm production. Having chronically low levels can lead to infertility or subfertility and a persistent decrease in libido. Your dick will only be good for peeing because not even black magic will be able to bring it back from the dead. And you'll perform worse than a potato in a marathon. Obviously, and just like in the show, I'm talking about the most extreme cases, but they do exist. And weight cuts of this magnitude, where Paddy could have died, are extreme weight cuts. And in fact, here are some other health problems that Paddy or any other fighter could face if their testosterone drops from continuing down the path of extreme weight cuts. The truth is that this is just an anecdote for Paddy, but the complications and effects on his body are still there. He could have ended up needing dialysis or, on the other hand, been left with a minimal testosterone level along with a number of other problems because this could have happened to him. It's almost ironic that this is a sport considered to be full of guys loaded with testosterone. It's the preparation for a fight that could take away the very hormone that defines you as a man. Honestly, I think weight cuts are a bigger problem than we as spectators, fans, and even the fighters themselves realize. And I think that organizations like ONE, for example, are doing a better job than the UFC in this regard. To look out for the fighter's health. That's why these things give me mixed feelings. On one hand, this isn't exactly cheating like steroids, which we'll talk about in another video, but it really is bad for the human body. And I don't like that. On the other hand, I can't help but admire people who willingly endure this, despite knowing how bad it is, just to achieve their goal. The problem is that many people do this in any competition you see, without really knowing the big problems it can cause their bodies in the short and long term. Guys, share your thoughts in the comments about this case, Paddy, and weight cuts. Speaking of that, here's the video about weight cuts and volume 2 of The Fall of Conor McGregor. Thanks for being there.